My video for October the 8th, 2019 is video number 3231. The title is The War Mentality and Blatant Propaganda. Even when war is not so blatant, the plan to divide us against each other has long served the interests of the control freaks who see themselves as superior to others. It doesn't matter to them if the fight is over religion, race, or anything else where a wedge can be driven between people willing to fight for their point of view, racial makeup, or whatever. War is the racket, the psychopathic game of the so-called elitists. Everything is inverted to these demons. And even referring to them as demonic is often denounced with vocabulary like anti-Semitic, racist, or even gender-related words used to divide. Make no mistake about it. We are at war around the world as those who have long been in control are being exposed more and more. They obviously do not want their house of cards to come crashing down. In the United States, the Donald's threat to drain the swamp has the elitist establishment greatly alarmed. Like him or hate him, Mr. Trump is the first national leader who is the focus of so much vitriol. Is it possible for the shift of the ages from Pisces to Aquarius to be peaceful? Or is the clash of ideologies more inevitable than ever before in our known history? Will the divide and conquer strategy continue? Where to begin? As I've said in so many videos, I am not a Trump supporter. I'm a wait and see what he's going to do person. And I get messages and emails, and I don't get very many phone calls anymore, but I communicate with people or get communication from people about it's time for the black race, for example, to take the white people out, and white people need to be in control. Well, I've watched Donald Trump rallies, and there's a lot of black people that support Donald Trump. But of course, the vitriol is being spread throughout the media. The mainstream media is the lamestream media to me. CNN to me is the worst of all the channels. It's the last one that I would go to, but MSNBC and all of them, even Fox is suspect to me. They perhaps present a little bit more of alternative viewpoints than the others. But in any case, everything in our world has been corrupted. I'd like to see Asia and Africa and Europe and the Americas get along with each other. And Australia, of course. I was on the Australian delegation for Swiss Indo. I have friends that are from New Zealand and Australia. I have made it a point to try to build bridges, as I keep on saying. I have spoken in black churches, and in one instance, I was the only white person in the whole building, and I was the one invited to speak. And if I remember, I don't remember if it was a standing ovation, but an applause at the end of my talk, because I have tried to build bridges. I don't like seeing people fighting each other over insanity of what color their skin is or what religion they are. All religions have been infiltrated. All races have been used to divide and create war. This whole thing that's been going on this planet for as long as any of us could possibly remember. Our histories don't go back far enough to any time when Earth actually experienced peace. And yet we hear the phrase peace on earth mouthed, but nobody does anything to create that peace on earth. And what can anybody do to create it when the money masters, those that control the alleged wealth of the world, have an agenda to divide, have an agenda to conquer, have an agenda to create as much mayhem as possible, because they have learned how to profit from all of their chicanery and all of their pitting individuals and groups against one another. We have to somehow get to the point and get the help that we need to overcome this strategy. I am not an anti-Semite. I have people that live in Israel, Jewish people, that have made very wonderful comments about some of my videos. I have communicated with people that come from different countries and different religions. I mean, the ambassador was a Muslim, folks. I don't know how many people realize that, but when I made all the videos with him, he's Muslim. At least that's what I remember his orientation to be. And I have worked trying to get through to people that we need to listen and learn from one another. And we can't do that when we go in with the attitude of, you're wrong. That cuts off the communication. It stops the investigation of trying to find out what the road to peace can possibly be. How can we learn to listen and get along with each other? How can we learn to build the bridges that are necessary to be built if we are to achieve a level of peace on earth that will enable us to create a human society that is far superior to anything we've ever known in our past history, as far as we can know anything about our past history. I mean, the cataclysms even that take place on the planet itself, I think, are often caused by some of the psychic disruption that's in the human psyche, that somehow when our codons were turned off and we were limited in our ability, did that actually happen? I don't know. I believe it did. I don't believe God made junk initially, but for some reason, God seems to have allowed humans to become junk DNA. In other words, inactive DNA that keeps us from having the ability to find common ground, because there's been so much invested in creating non-common ground. You know, it makes me want to cry. And I don't know what else I can do. People say, well, do something. I mean, I had a man tell me that once. Ron, all you do is talk. Do something. Well, what do you want me to do? I'm one person. I'm not going to start fighting. I don't believe in headbutting. Once you get into an argument, nobody wins, because you stop listening when it becomes an argument. As long as it can be a rational discussion, at least you have the ability to hear the other's point of view and have your point of view heard. But how do we do that when we've been so brainwashed, that we are so controlled and so manipulated? We have so much inability to do what needs to be done to find that common ground, to get beyond the propaganda and stop the war, the insanity of the war over who's right. Love is right. Can we actually begin to love one another? Only if we're willing to listen to one another and hear where they're coming from and feel the beat of the human heart. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.